Very good morning to everyone. Mbaniriza ku Speak the Truth in Love Ministry with Miss Veronica Mirembe Benedictio, Veronica Mirembe Mukisa. Welcome to the Speak the Truth in Love Ministry with Veronica Peace Blessing. And welcome to our 16th edition. This is our 16th video by the grace of God. We bless the Lord who is using me to do exploits in our generation. I don't take it for granted. It is really His grace. And I wake up with passion and lots of enthusiasm every morning to do this work. Because just like I'm telling us, this is not a channel of creating videos for people to be out there to listen to them. But it is that one person God is looking for. And it is my greatest motivation. It is the reason why I wake up every day. Even if it is one person who listens. At the end of the day, my reward is in heaven. Just like I keep telling us, I'm not seeking for popularity. I'm not seeking for a following, for a like, for attention. But all I seek for is a well done, good and faithful servant. It is that well done, good and faithful servant because my reward comes from God and I daily see it. I do not seek for popularity because popularity does not pay my bills, but living a life of purpose pays my bills. So welcome to this 16th edition on this 19th May, Tuesday 19th May 2026. And in today's recording, I want to convey a message to the children on holiday, the children who are having their, children who are on holiday, because this is a message that is particularly, because just like I said, I share about different issues in life. And in today's edition, I'm conveying a message to children on holiday. And the title I'm giving to my message is, Children, we either learn through listening or experience. I'll repeat it. Children, we either learn through listening or experience. Mu Luganda njakiita abaana tuyiga nga tuwuliriza oba n'okiyitamu. Tuyiga ebintu mu nsi nga tuwuliriza bazadde baffe, nga tuwuliriza abasomesa baffe, nga tuwuliriza abatuwabula oba ng'okiyiseemu. We either learn through listening or experience. Omuntu mu nsi tuyiga ebintu either ng'owuliriza n'otegeera n'okiyiga oba oluusi n'okiyitamu. But we have to know learning through listening is better than learning through experience. Omuntu ayiga ekintu ng'awuliriza n'awabulwa asinga omuntu akiyitamu. Kubanga oluusi w'oyita mu kintu mubeeramu okwejjusa. There is a lot of pain and regret that comes out of learning something through experience because you refuse to listen. Mulimu ebintu bye tuyitamu like oluusi we are going through pain and suffering. Oluusi tuyina ebintu bye tuyitamu lwakuba tugaanye okuwuliriza. Kati ekyo kye ŋŋamba abaana, oluusi omuzadde ajja kugamba omuntu ekintu, ku ssomero bajja bagamba ebintu, abantu bajja kugamba ebintu, ne Katonda waffe oyo muggulu atugamba ebintu, naye oluusi ffe abeesalirawo. Kubanga abaana balina stage gye batuuka nga omuzadde tasobola kusalirawo naye ggwe ng'omwana amazima g'oyize gw'alina okwesalirawo. You either learn through listening or experience. Either owuliriza oba n'okiyitamu. Let me repeat this. Okukiyitamu oyina obulumi bw'ogenda okuyitamu bw'oteeyagalidde naye nga singa wawuliriza wandisinze. And it is the title to my message. That is a brief introduction to what I'm sharing about in this video on this Tuesday, 19th of May. Children, let me first share, because as I'm sharing, I use the Bible. Shovola bangena nengamba, omuntu atayagala bya Bible, sagala ulize bintu byange. Kubanga Bible eyo, sina ngeri gye nkangavula mwana nga sikosa kigambo kya Katonda, because I'm a Christian. and I believe in the Bible. At the end of the day, when kukanga vulira omwana nga mulaga ki ekyawandikibwa kye kyogera, that child becomes a better person. You know, and just like I tell people, this is not a channel for balokole, bino si bya balokole. Ne buli omu akkiririza mu Bible, channel ene ebe muyamba. Omuntu akkiririza mu Yesu, channel ene ebe muyamba. Eno channel si ya balokole, si ka abantu bambuza nnyo, oli mulokole, oli mukatuliki, oli mu Seventh Day, nze ebyo sibikiririzamu. At the end of the day, I know Jesus Christ is one. And the Bible we read is the same. So oba ndi mukatuliki, oba ndi mukristaayo, oba ndi that doesn't matter. Ekikulu okkiririza mu Bible, okkiririza mu kigambo kya Katonda. You know, and I will share this message to the nation, to the world, to people out there. Aina amatu akole ki awulire kubanga abaana mulimu ebintu nga tewali agenda nga wentera okugamba abantu mu njiri yange Mukama takako bintu bye ku bantu, you know, kati nga naffe abazadde tetugenda kukaka bintu ku baana baffe naye oluusi they have to know that like balina okumanya nti ebiva mu bye beesaliddewo balina obbigumira. You know, oluusi ebiva mu choices, ebiva mu bintu byolonze olina obbiyita mpagwa bironze. We tusoma Bible olugero lwa Adam ne Eva. Bangenda kutandikirawo. Adam ne Eva baina okusalawo kwe baakola like bali akukibala nenga Katonda yali akibaganye. Kyova olaba ne tubeera n'okubonabona kuno kwe tuyitamu mu nsi. It is why I tell we live in a fallen world. Kati mulimu okubonaabona amaziga ebintu ng'okufiirwa tebiriggwawo, ebintu ng'endwadde tebiriggwawo kubanga olwa choices Adam ne Eva ze baakola naye nga amazima baagamanya. You know, kata wengendo okutandikira okutulaga nti mulimu ebintu we either learn through listening or experience. You know, kati nze kamwakwogera abulirira abaana nyinza okuba I'm not a biological parent, sinazaala baana bange ku lwange. You know, naye ebintu bino mbikubuulira kuba kati ku myaka gye nnina 38 abamu ku bagiina even nabajjajja balina abazzukulu ku myaka egyo. You know, some people are grandparents already at 38 naye nze sinazaala bange. You know, but I'll teach you these things, children out there, out of experience also ng'omukyala akuze, you know, kwange na myaka 4 n'emyaka 38. You know, kati mulimu ebintu ebimu nga omuzadde ajja kwogera naawe, and it's why I'm telling children I am here as a mentor, as a teacher, and as a person who has had experience with so many children in different settings, in the international setting, in the local setting, in the home setting, and I will show you these things because at the end of the day, at times our parents are telling us things and we shall call it crap. Nonsense, tebategeera kubanga tulaba tukuze ate nga tetumanyi nti ne bazadde baffe like fe bazadde bamwe twabiyitamu obulamu bugenda bweddamu bwezzi. Kati oluusi omuzadde waakubuulira ekintu olina okuwuliriza kuba naye aba yakiyitamu. You know, they have gone through obulamu bwe bumu ebyaliwo edda bye you know, but at the end of the day mulimu ebintu abazadde bye batugamba ne tubiraba nga ne tulowooza ntutegeera nnyo. You know, and it's the reason kye ngamba abaana you either learn through listening or experience. Naye buli wonookiyitamu kijja kumenya kikube wala. Nedda ngenda ne ngamba abaana we live in a generation abantu tewali alabulamu, tewali akubulira mazima. Eno ensi buli omu alinze kalyonso naawe kiyiteemu naawe okiwulire. Kati omuntu ayimirira n'agamba abaana amazima muyina omwagala. You have to love that person because we live in a world where everyone is waiting for you. You know, everyone is waiting to laugh. Tewali agenda kulabula tubeera mu nsi omuntu ayinza ogamba gwa mu kinnya ekyo ng'olaba ogenda gwayo naye n'ogwayo okyakyenkulaga naye omuntu ajja n'akulabula mu guno omulembe olina omwagala. No, I tell young people nze ministry yange bagiyita lugezigezi ministry, but at the end of the day kambeere n'olugezigezi kambeere ne judging naye nga nkuyamba ng'omwana omuto because we live in a generation where there is a lot of pain and suffering. Kubanga abaana abasinga ensobi tuzikola ng'oluusi tetweyagalidde tetutegedde mazima. You know, and it is the reason I'm here to help children nga maama w'eggwanga. Nyinza okuba siina abaana benzadde but at the end of the day bwe tuwulira abantu nga ba Mother Teresa tebalina baana but she was called Mother Teresa. You know, I do not have to be a biological parent to speak to children. And it is why I tell children, I may not be a biological parent, but I may tell you things because I read the Bible. I have taught children in the Sunday school setting for over 20 years. I have nurtured children, and what I'm sharing is out of experience. I've also gone through that stage that you are in. And it is why I'm telling children in this video. You know? Now let me give children an example. Omuzadde ajja kugamba omwana we baby, tokwata ku muliro ogwo gujja kwokya. Mama wava omwana nakwata ku kando kuba ye yagala kola ki kando weemoocha omwana alina okugumira obulumi bwa kando kuba ye yagikutteko yaganya okuwuliza kati akiyiseemu n'ogamba omwana tokwata ku sefuli eyo wovaawo n'agikwatako omuliro wajja ojja mutwala nze ng'omuzadde nja kutwala mu ddwaliro nnumirwe omwana wange ayidde nkaabe but at the end of the day you made a choice. You know, wabadde omanyi kando eyokya n'ogikwatako n'ekwokya. N'ogamba omwana towalampa miti ojja kuvaayo ogwe waakulaba ovudde mu nnyumba n'aguwalampa n'awanukayo n'agwa ennuma y'ekigo n'amenyeka n'abeera mu amsling n'agenda mu ddwaliro obulumi bwalimu naye nga yabadde amanyi kyakola kibi naye n'akola ki n'akyerondera. You know? Kati gwe ng'omuzadde kijja kuluma bannange omwana wange yamenyesa omukono omwana wange ali mu bulumi, but this child made their choice. They knew they were refused from climbing that tree, but they climbed that tree. So as a parent, they may not have any solution to that child, but the child made their choice. You know? N'ogamba tozanyisa kambe kajja kusala. Mama wava omwana nazanyisa akambo bakaji wekamusala ajja kubeera mu bulumi naye nga mama yamugambye tozanyisa kambaako. You know? It is why I'm sharing with children. We learn through experience or listening. Our parents may tell us things, but at the end of the day, awuliriza asinga. You know? So let me start by showing you the Bible. When you read the Bible in Ephesians chapter 6, from verse 1 up to 3, it says, children, obey your parents. Obey your mother and father, so that you may live long on earth. Bible gamba, osangamu mama wo ne tata w'ekitiibwa, owangale ku nsi. You know, but at times as children, we are very disrespectful to our parents and we think we shall walk away with it. You know, it is why I'm telling children, we live in a day at a time, wosanga abaana abato nga bayisamu abantu abakulu amaaso. No, there is something I tell children, as long as your parent takula omuntu omukulu tagamba kintu kibi, oyina omussaamu ekitiibwa. You know, omuntu omukulu waba tagamba genda mu ssabo, omuntu omukulu waba tagamba kola kintu nga naawe omanyi kibi, abantu abakulu babassaamu ekitiibwa. You know, and it is why I'm recording all these messages to show children there are things naffe nga bazadde bamwe tubiyiseemu, and at times parents are sharing these things out of love because they wish the best for their children. But because at times we think we are grown, we are of age, and we won't listen to our parents, and it is why I tell children, we may have a right to our choices, but we have no right to the results or repercussions of the choices we make in life when we get problems. You know? Tuina right ku bye tusalawo. Naye tuina right ku biva mu bye tusalawo. You know? Because at the end of the day, omuzadde agenda kuwabula akugamba ekintu wogaana okuwulira kye weerondeddwa olina okiyitamu kuba omuzadde ayogedde naawe ng'omwana ate nga akwagala gwe n'okigaana. You know, it is why I'm telling young children on holiday, there are things we are talking about like work. Abaana tebagala kola, bamanyi okola kwa abakozi, everything is about money. And it is the reason you say we are living in a disturbed generation because we think it is bakozi be balina tukolera emirimu. You know, it is why I'm speaking to young children on holiday. Just like I shared in my former videos. Omukisa gwa muzadde wo si gwe gugo. Buli wootokole togenda Bible gamba atakole talienga. 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 verse 10. I shared that in my earlier video. Buli wootokole oyinza okuba bakuyita mwana wa mugagga naye obugagga bwa tata wo bwa maama wo naawe oyina okukola ebibyo. Kyova olaba tubeera mu mulembe omuzadde ajja kulekera ssente ajja kulekera ebizimbe naye oba tomanyi kukola togenda kuuma bugagga obwo kuba gwe ekyomanyi kukeera kubeera ku ssimu kubeera ku TV kufollowinga Shiba kufollowinga Spice Dana because you don't want to work. You know, and it is the reason I'm speaking to children in our generation. Learn how to work. You know, your parent does not tell you to work because they are bad. They are telling you to work because they want a better life for you. We live in a generation where children do not want to work. And it starts from a young age. No gamba mwana omuto londa ekipapula ekyo sinze yatusuddewo. Because we have been trained into okola chintu ky'abantu, you know, abakola balina bawa sente. And it is why you see we are suffering as a generation, because from a young age we do not want to work. You know, I tell children there are certain things. Bible egamba wosoma Proverbs chapter 12 verse 1. Kansome na mu Luganda. Egamba atayagala kubuulirirwa. No, egamba ayagala okubuulirirwa, ayagala okumanya. Naye oyo achawa okuwabula abeera ng'omusirusiru. The English version says, he who hates correction is stupid. Buli wotayagala kuwabula, Bible ekuyita fool. It calls you stupid. You know? And it is why I'm telling children, at the end of the day, there are things our parents will tell us and we have to listen instead of learning through experience. Omuntu ekintu ky'oyize ng'okiyiseemu kiruma nnyo, kikwasa ennaku, kikukuba wala, naye ng'awuliriza akola ki? Asinga. You know, there are things I tell children in our generation. No, obera mwana mto ng'atandika dde okulimbalimba, buli kimu olimba, ngenda wano, mama akutumye ku dduuka oli wano. Kagamba, I tell you, there are things you may think you are fooling your parent, but it's not your parent you're fooling. Panga ebivaamu mu bulimba obwo gwagenda bikungula. You know, ebiva mu bulimba obwo bokola neda we live, you know, abana abato. No, there is something I have written. In fact, I have a whole book. It's called Truth Children Need to Know in Our Generation. Kubanga ebintu bino nabiwandiikamu. I tell children there are certain things we take for granted, because we like antena ffe tuba twabiyitamu nga bazadde bammwe. You find a child that we begin early relationships because we do not believe in ourselves as young children. Akalenzi kajja kujja kakulimbe nga olabika obulungi ogende osanyukirire ogende nga kivaamu kikakufunyisiza lubuto kakusiize bulwadde, because you have not believed in yourself as a child. You know, it is why I tell young children, be very careful, because at the end of the day, learn things like knowing your identity. Manya chicholi ng'oli mwana muto. Abana abalenzi abala tebagenda kuzanyirako, abana abala abalenzi kubanga weemanyi, you know who you are, sinti oba weepanka. You know, but we live in a generation, children oli mu ssomero gwatambuza obubaluwa you know, n'olimba omuzadde oli mu holiday, omugambye mugenda mu semina, omugambye ngenda ku ssomero, omugambye nenga byonna by'olimu oli mu kulimba. Kyenkugamba omuzadde wo naye aba yabiyitamu. Kati at the end of the day, omuzadde waakubuulirira ebintu oluusi aba ayagala to make you a better person. You know, there are things our parents tell us out of love, but as children, because we think we of age, we get into anger, we get into pride. Nengo omuzadde naye aba yakiyitamu. Kati aba akulabula ng'omwana we lwakuba akwagaliza kirungi. You know, abana nneki kye bagamba obutamatira ng'oli mwana muto. N'osanga omwana bwe kimu ali mu bulimba, mami sente za kino, tomatira kiki muzadde kyakuwa. Ono mukwano gwange ayina essimu, ono bamugulidde kino, because you do not appreciate what your parent gives you as a child. You know, and it is why I'm telling children, whenever you don't appreciate what your parent gives you, you are going to be misled because you're not happy with what your parent gives you. You know? No, there are things I tell young children. There are things you have to learn from a young age. When you do not learn them, this world is going to mislead you. Bible yetugamba mu Galatiya 6:7, tolimbibwanga, Katonda tasekererwa, kubanga omuntu kyonna kyasiga akikungula. Abaana abato nabeera mu bulimba, nalimba kino. Children, tusomye Ephesians 6:1 says, respect your mother and father and you will live long on earth. N'osanga omwana omuto avuma maama we, ojja kweretera ekikolimo kwa Bible yekyogera. You know, there are things I tell young children, as long as you do not learn certain truths, kuba tuli mu mulembe omuzadde wakugamba ebyo tebiriiyo. So it is why I'm telling children, you either learn through listening or experience. Naye okukiyitamu kikuba wala nga awuliriza akola ki asinga. Nina ekintu kye ŋŋamba abaana waliwo obutasoma buluma bukulu. Omuzadde n'ogaana okusoma nedda tulina ebintu bye tulaba. At the end of the day wagaana okusoma oli mu taxi oyita abantu naye nga wagaana okusoma. Because it is why I'm telling children, there are certain things a parent is telling you out of love because they want you to be a better person. Omuzadde tagenda gana baby we kwata ku muliro ng'amanyi temugenda mocha, and it is why we are telling you there are certain things you have to learn as children that will take you places, that will take you far. No, we live in a generation where our parents take us to church every Sunday. Omanyi katonda wa mama na tata negwe katonda omutegeera. Chovala mama wabeerawo TV olaba birala wavaawo n'obikyusa kubanga omanyi katonda wa mama naye tomanyi katonda wo. It is why I speak to young children. There are things you will know that will take you places. I emphasize the point of integrity. Omuganda chaita obwerufu amazima, being true when no one is watching you. Omanyi tewali akulaba n'ogenda n'obbenyanya y'omuntu. Omanyi tewali akulaba n'ogenda kankubuulire mulimu ebintu by'ogenda okweyigiriza ng'omwana omuto. Ng'omanyi tolimbalimba kubanga okyeyigiriza nga mwana muto kigenda kutwala wala. But we live in a generation that is so disturbed because as children at times we have not known certain truths. Back to the point of knowing we have to work. Atakole talienga. Muzaddewo, they may be blessed with an office job and they can look after you, but you may not have the blessing of working in an office. And it is why you have to know, you have to learn how to work, because your parents' blessing is not your blessing. So whenever you think I come from a rich family, chovola bojja kubeera mu nsi nga basembako oyo family gyali avaamu yali ngagga naye nga tolina kyoliko because you do not want to work. There are things we speak to children, HIV and AIDS in our generation. Omuzadde n'akugamba towuliriza. So there are certain things you will learn things the hard way if you don't want to listen. And it is why I'm speaking to children. You begin bad groups. Mukwano gwo n'agamba genda obbe kino. And abaana ne batandika enjaga because you think your parent is kyakuwabula tekiriiyo. And it is why I'm encouraging children. There are certain things you have to have as a child. Have values. Have values like hard work. Have values like honesty. Have values like integrity that are taking you places. Have values that are going to make you a better person in the world. There are things our parents tell us. They share these things out of love. Omuzadde wa ayina ebintu byakugamba because they want to make you a better person. They are not telling you because they are showing you your mistakes. And it is why, as I'm ending this video, let me speak to children on holiday. There are certain truths that you know that will set you free. Because we live in our generation, tewali atulabula. Bagamba tozanya na balenzi bajja kufunisa olubuto, ojja kufunisa omwalo, and you don't listen. So there are certain things, you either learn it the easy or the hard way, but no one is going to force you because you have made a choice. Your parent may speak something to you and you may think, omanyi ntegeera, omanyi, and at the end of the day, wochitamu, it is the hard way because you have made your choice. You have made your choice. And at times, as parents, it is why, as I'm finishing this video, let me also speak to parents. Let us train our children in a way to be responsible for their choices. Nga omwana alina obuvunaanyizibwa ku kyasalawo. Kwa ogenda kwa n'abaana ewaka bajje bakulage balwana webekuba bajje bakabira gwe baleke kwa bebeesaliddewo. Because there are things as parents we also have to train our children to also be responsible for their choices in life. Because at times when children are responsible for their choices, they know they can do anything. And it is why, as I'm finishing this video, let me speak to children on holiday. We are going back to school. Be very careful the groups you're involved in. What things are you watching on TV? What novels are you reading? There are things you have to know. They will either make you as a child or break you. What values do you have as a child? What are you listening to? Excuse me. There are things that are going to make you a better child or that will lead you into suffering. It is why I'm encouraging a child in this video. Let us listen. Let us listen. Bible Gambia, Ephesians chapter 6 from verse 1 up to 2. Children, obey your mother and father and you will live long on earth. At times we are walking in regret because we have not listened to our parents. And it is why I'm encouraging children on holiday. There are things mama tagamba kola mirimu nti akukozesa. Mama abayagala kufuula muntu ali responsible mu nsi. Tosobola kungamba nti oli muwala oli mu holiday naye ng'osiba ku TV nga tosobola kweyoleza ngwezo. Naye ng'oli mwana wa secondary, ng'oli mwana wa university. Kuba amanyi mama asasula omukozi ayoza engoye. There are things you have to learn as a child. Because your parent is trying to groom you to be a responsible child. They are not training you to just be a loser in life. And it is why they will tell you these things out of love. They will tell you not to join bad groups out of love. And it is why, as I'm ending this video, let me speak to a child out there. Ngaya bagamba aina matwakolechi awulire. These things may annoy you as a child, but they are making you a better person. I have told you I may not have biological children, but people like Mother Teresa, teyazala na kumwana ne bamwitanga Mother Teresa. I may be your angel and I want you to do things the right way. Thank you for listening to me. This is the Speak the Truth in Love ministry with Miss Veronica Mirembe Benedictio, and God bless you.